Legend of Grimrock 1 was held up as a pinnacle of puzzle design, and being the only modern tile-based first-person dungeon crawler, it made everyone think again about a format that seemed thoroughly stuck in the late 80s. So Legend of Grimrock has a lot to hold up to. Looking at its feature list, the phrase "bigger is better" comes to mind, and in many ways it is, in others not so much. If you are after this game for the puzzles, then look no further. It has great riddles and logic puzzles that engage you with the dungeons and setting. They can spread across multiple areas or just be a fun way to get loot. In some of the more open areas, it feels like the puzzles are neatly sectioned off for you to play with, but it's useful because you can get around them easily if you want to get to somewhere else. It's the puzzles that are spread across multiple dungeons that can trip you up though. There is a door in this game that does not need a key, but will only open with a certain item. I'm not going to spoil anything, but this particular lock caused me great frustration, trying to figure out what and where the item was even though I already had the damn thing in my inventory. Fortunately, there are other puzzles that you can solve before coming back, but after those are done, wandering around looking for clues becomes fruitless. The maps are expansive and not fun to comb through if you've missed something. This door and another secret button that I overlooked added an extra couple of hours onto my playtime. Usually, finding a secret button randomly is a delight and leads to optional but fun fights and treasure. In this case, it was essential to progress through the game. These are either poorly signposted or I'm just stupid, but if I hadn't wanted to write a review, I might have given up and never come back to the game. As you might be able to guess, those last few sentences came from a place of annoyance, but the rest of the game is a winner. In general, things like the interface menus and clicking on stuff in the world hasn't changed from the first one, because you shouldn't fix what isn't broken. Being able to pick up and drag stuff and push buttons with the mouse still feels very tactile and makes you feel like you're with your characters and not just observing them. One criticism often levelled at Grimrock 1 was that the scenery was monotone and got boring after a while. In Grimrock 2, those same crumbling claustrophobic walls are back, but joined by other biomes like a temple, marsh and woods. Overall, Grimrock is quite dark and can be hard to see, but it feels good to get out the other side of a dungeon and see the sky. And that changes too with the day and night cycle. I haven't been able to tell if it makes a difference gameplay wise, but it looks pretty. The enemy variety is improved now too, and the best thing is they make great use of the tile movement system to improve fights. Having enemies that leap, do sideways dashes and jump around makes more of a difference than you'd think. It's far more engaging than standing face to face against an enemy in a tight corridor. The giant frog is the best example. It can lick weapons out of your hands and charge at you over 2 tiles for huge damage, so that you have to move around to the side and try not to face it head on. Even if you do this well, it will try and get behind you by jumping over your head. The enemies have different weaknesses and types of damage they can do against you. I will say that having the alchemy skill is almost essential, as potions are your only way to regain health in the middle of a fight, and not having anti-venom on hand can seriously hurt. There is a good range of skills to suit how you play, but some are more useful and have more items available to them, so be careful how you spend your level ups. Character creation is very flexible, as is the difficulty. You can choose easy, normal or hard, but there are also options like old school mode where you have to draw the map for yourself in real life, and only being able to save the game at crystal checkpoints. If you want to make it even harder on yourself, you can choose the character class Farmer, which has no benefits and no starting skills because you're a farmer, not a warrior. The other classes and races have some cool abilities and stats to balance as well. There is also a dungeon editor which I haven't tested out, but it looks the same as the one from Grimrock 1. Having a map creator is always good, and it will be interesting to see what adventures the community comes up with. If you want fighting, loot, puzzles and exploration, then this game is better than the first. If you're after story, then consider how much you like the previous 4 criteria, because the story fades into the background after the first cutscene. Not that it's not interesting, there just isn't much of it. It's all delivered through text hints and letters you can find, and a few pictures. Nevertheless, it rounds out the atmosphere of the game really well. Legend of Grimrock 2 will bring you victory, frustration, and even a few jump scares. Thank you everybody for watching. Check the description for links to the game's site and store pages. I'm also making a full playthrough and walkthrough of the game, so you can find the playlist for that in there too. If you have enjoyed my review, then give it a thumbs up, and if you want to discover more cool, weird, free and interesting indie games, then subscribe for daily videos. Until next time, goodbye.